Good morning, dear Dharma friends. It's morning again. I'm Robert Beatty, for now. Or sometimes. And I'm coming to you from a little house, 10 by 12 feet in my backyard in Portland, Oregon. And this is a broadcast of the Portland Insight Meditation Community. And it is the 10th of June. I'm in a new spot here in my little house. I have a chair here that can recline a bit. And I've been working with some pain in my low back and right hip for years, actually. And yesterday I spent a couple of hours with my dear friend Julie Goodmestad, the yoga teacher of yoga teachers, all over the world, actually. She's a physical therapist as well. And together we read the X-ray report, and I had overlooked the degenerative disc disease between L4 and L5. So there's lots I can do about it, and one of them is not sitting up straight. And of course, we all know you'll never get enlightened unless you sit up straight. So I'm screwed. I'm never going to get enlightened. So I have my computer on my music stand, and it's a little iffy, but I think it's going to work. And now I do want to check the broadcast to Facebook and YouTube, which appears to be going well. So that's that. I do want to share a poem with you.
You want to record?
Oh, do I want to record? Yeah, I'll do it. Thank you, Jim. I don't know why. I just, we pile them up. Record on this computer.
Recording in progress.
Plus, she has such a cheery voice, doesn't she? She's always the same. Recording in progress. Oh, this is a fun one. It uses the G word, God. So in the Buddhist context, it's, people sometimes get annoyed. I tried to get away from that. But let's use our auto translators and let it be what it is, which is, I like to think, most mysterious is, or that which is that which knows. Anyway, it goes like this. It's about the precepts. So far today, God, I've done all right. I haven't gossiped, haven't lost my temper, haven't been greedy or grumpy, nasty or self-centered. I'm really glad about that. But in a few minutes, I'm going to get out of bed, and then I'm going to need a lot of help. So far today, God, I have done all right. I haven't gossiped, Haven't lost my temper, haven't been greedy or grumpy, nasty or self-centered. I'm really glad about that. But in a few minutes, I'm going to get out of bed, and then I am going to need a lot of help. So let's cultivate the awareness, the loving awareness with which we shape ourselves to become more and more kind and caring and patient and able to bear the great losses and challenges of life with grace and with less and less acting out. So please sit comfortably. Notice whatever's happening. Notice that there is a body. It's alive. It breathes in and breathes out. Every single component of the body, the water, the fats, the calcium, all the trace elements, the sugars, they're all on loan. Everything is on loan. We have a lease, in a way. And all the forces that come together to form a body in a certain way provide a vehicle for consciousness, a costume, an earth suit. Please notice how the breathing happens. Each breath has a beginning. It has a rising to fullness. It has a decline. And then it vanishes. In this that we take to be myself, oneself, there are also probably thoughts. Thoughts of the past, thoughts of the future. Loving thoughts, hating thoughts. Thoughts of acquisition and thoughts of loss. We may well be visited by the 5 hindrances, by desire or aversion, by restlessness, agitation, worry, by sloth and torpor, dullness, and by doubt. Along with the 5 hindrances come all the emotions. Powerful phenomena. They're connected often with thoughts. So we can observe emotions as they exist in the body. The question mark. of curiosity is of profound importance in our practice. Thank you. As important as it is to calm the mind and experience some ease and tranquility, equally important is that overarching question: what's going on? Who am I? There is a world of difference between being lost in the thoughts and aware of the thoughts, aware of thinking. To be lost in the thoughts, to be lost in the emotions, is to be living out the programming of the past. Karma ripening as vipaka. To add awareness, to add mindfulness and curiosity. And to know thoughts as thoughts is to be awake in the present moment. So each breath has its beginning. It has its lifetime of increasing, of rising, of expanding. The word in Pali for meditation is bhavana. It means to cultivate. And when we cultivate a garden, we find the best soil we can get. We add amendments to it. We add compost and lime, perhaps fertilizer. We then carefully remove the weeds to the best of our ability, and then we plant our seeds. And then we hope for rain and sun, or we water. The seeds germinate and they begin to move in the direction of their destiny, producing more of themselves. And we take care of them, we cultivate them, we bhavana them. The seeds that we plant are mindfulness. They are awakening, they are compassion, the fruits of practice, their freedom. And we cultivate them by bringing into being certain mental capacities, by practicing mindfulness and concentration, by uprooting the 5 hindrances whenever we notice them. That's not the crop we want to feed. We want to feed the crop of love and compassion and sympathetic joy and equanimity and caring about ourselves and others in very sensitive ways. And so one breath at a time. How present am I? Each breath is an invitation. Be present. Be intimate with the body. Each wandering mind is also an invitation. Wake up, notice thinking as thinking. Coming home to the actual sensations in the body. Notice how remarkably alive it is. How each breath mysteriously begins. How each thought mysteriously begins. The circumstances of this moment arise from infinitely complicated karmic webs from the past. No way to understand them. However, they arise into the simplicity of this moment. And the intervention, this awareness, this refuge in the Buddha, is so simple and yet so potent. How shall I respond to the circumstances of this moment? And let's remember also to cultivate an attitude of loving friendliness, an attitude of kindness. Perhaps to remind ourselves, I aspire to love and accept myself. Exactly as I am in this moment. And whenever we discover ourselves to be hurting, to be suffering, I intend to hold myself, to receive myself with sweet, gentle compassion. It's time to stop the war. To land in this moment with complete love and acceptance. And let's use our imagination now to think about the plans that are there for the day. Perhaps the travel, the commute. Maybe it's a Zoom meeting or 2 or 10. Maybe it's taking care of a baby. Maybe it's making our way through a day colored by grief and loss, by fear. Maybe there will be anger to deal with. Why not imagine yourself staying awake through it all, staying mindful, or more accurately, perhaps returning to mindfulness time and again. And please now notice where your body makes contact with the chair. What a remarkable thing to be able to direct awareness. And bringing awareness now to the face. To the sensations of cheeks and lips and eyes. And then notice the intention, the effort in a way that's needed to open the eyes. And let them open. And let them open as eyes of blessing, eyes of gratitude. And seeing. It's eyes that see these little postage stamp pictures. They're Harry Potter pictures that are alive. Seeing, and notice the experience of seeing in this way. Sometimes it's particularly nourishing and delicious. Other times the heart can be pretty closed. Seeing. And beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm going to try to share what I'm seeing with you, what I'm seeing. I don't know whether it'll work through the camera or not, but I'm going to try. I will hope the whole thing doesn't fall apart. Here, reaching for camera. Grabbing camera. Oh, is it going to work? Come off. All right. So this is, it doesn't work at all. Well, that looks like an ordinary door, doesn't it? The colors through it are lost in the picture. Oh, well. So here we are. I suppose it might be time for me to do a reminder of the opportunity to practice generosity. Don't ever let a day pass in which you don't do something generous. I ate last night at the Beaverton food carts. Beautiful sunny afternoon, lots of people. As I was leaving, there was a fellow in a wheelchair with not enough clothing on, by my judgment, and he had some bad bruises and stuff. He really did not look good. And I stopped and talked to him and asked, are you hungry? What do you need? And he wanted a hamburger and fries and a Coke. So I had the privilege of going and getting him some dinner, and he was not well. And I gave it to him, and he said, "Well, with that, I'm done." And then he wheeled away, and I watched him wheel himself away, and I thought, what is that life like? But it's a life that last night had food. So why would I possibly miss that opportunity? So I invite you to figure out how to do the little bits you can to be kind and to share. And one way you can do that, which magnifies it really, the multiplier effect of the Dharma, would be to participate in the financial support of PIMC, which you can do by going to the website and maybe become a monthly donor. And, they always say in fundraising things, even the smallest amount helps. And that's true. Small amounts add up. Every month when I look at the credit card, it's like, how did all those little charges add up to that big number? It's remarkable. It just doesn't seem right. But the practice of dana is really more about how the smallest gift transforms us. It throws a switch, sort of. So I think that's all I want to announce. And I wonder what you'd like to announce, if anything.
Robert.
I hear someone.
It's Janine.
Hello, Janine.
Hello. I just am sitting here with a lot of gratitude because it was a year ago today that I found this community and started to join you all on Zoom for meditation. So I'm celebrating that it's been a year, and very thankful. You all were a important part of my getting through COVID in the summer, especially. And so just Thanksgiving for that. And a question, in some ways, I think my concentration was better at the beginning. Lately, it's been really wonky. So I've been using kind of noting to help me stay concentrated. I've been using like mantras, and that helps a little bit, but just curious if you have any other ideas about concentration.
I do, but first, can we sing you happy birthday?
Yeah.
Let's go. Happy birthday to you. Happy first birthday to you. Happy first birthday, dear Janine. Happy first birthday to you.
Thank you.
And Oh dear. I'm having images of my children's first birthday when we allowed them to stick their hand in the cake.
Oh, yes.
That was grand. So concentration. Um, Perhaps first off, notice the greed, the desire, the wanting for concentration. There's this I that wants to be concentrated. And why does it want to be, why do you want to be concentrated?
For the meditation for me to be, I don't know, I think that leads to more awakeness. So, so I want to be concentrated because I think it'll make the meditation lead toward more awakeness.
Okay. And then is there also something about concentration feeling really good?
And there's this thing about I want to do it right, of course. So,
Right. Right.
There's that.
Uh-huh. Well, here's a suggestion. What if you were to, in addition to doing the efforting that you're doing to become concentrated, what if you were to also observe in this moment when awakening happens, observe the longing, the craving, the wanting to be concentrated, and on occasion, simply note, this moment is like this. Here, quote, I am wanting to be concentrated. And I propose that that's a moment of perfect practice. And there's no way to practice more effectively than that, because there's no place to get to. What's happening in the present moment is craving for concentration. And part of the craving of that is for most of us, it certainly is for me, or has been, that some of the sweetest moments of my life have been when concentration really came into the ascendancy. That to have an hour or half an hour or 5 minutes of really fine concentration is really about as good as it gets in terms of psychological, emotional experience. And once one gets a taste of that, one wants more, which is not a bad thing. But, there's another piece which I meant to say as preamble, which is, it's possible that you're actually way more concentrated now than you were when you started practice. However, you're also looking with a microscope that's developed so much more fully that you actually notice how you notice much more when what the mind is doing. I just remembered a conversation I had with my teacher. The first time I did an extended retreat, it was 2 months, a very intensive practice, like 16 hours a day. Very, very appropriate for a 20-something male crazy person. Anyway, I finished the retreat and I went for a walk with my teacher, and I was both elated that I had survived and that I had this achievement of doing this retreat, but also disappointed because my concentration, and I had had some periods of concentration that were really extraordinary. And I was sharing this with him, and we were walking down the street in Santa Cruz, and he stopped and he faced me and he said, I want to congratulate you that this has been the most successful retreat for you because you've discovered how out of control your mind is. And that's a huge insight. So discovering, whoa, concentration is pretty flimsy here, is a pretty important discovery. And and there's only now. There's nowhere to get to. And that, you've heard me many times, I'm sure, that it's a I be funny, I can't get it out. I am slowly living into the understanding of the profundity of Ajahn Chah's statement. When you want to bring your practice into perfect balance, simply remember this moment is like this, which is, I want to be more concentrated, or there is concentration, or this is the bliss of concentration, or good grief, I can't find my breath for a tenth of a second. I'm out, I'm insane here. Or the mind is insane. That all of those are perfect practice. And over time, concentration develops. It's true. And it's a months, years, decades process.
Yeah, I know. I'm just at the beginning. So thank you. Thank you, Sangha, for this year. And I look forward to more.
Well, I'm really glad you're here. Thank you so much. I'm pleased to discover that my experiment of sitting like this actually has resulted in no pain in my back. I've been doing lots of things to inflame it. When talking with my friend Julie yesterday, she said, don't carry heavy things. And I remembered carrying 75-pound bags of gravel, a lot of them, a few weeks ago. And oddly enough, my back hurt like hell after that for days. Huh. So, taking the weight off, it's important.
Robert, this is Had.
Hello, Hadley.
To dovetail on Janine's speaking, I just want to say that knowing the possibility of this practice, the possibility of concentration, and the different doorways to awakening that become very tangible. It only encourages us to come here every day and practice. And I want to acknowledge that we do this every day with that purpose and maybe intended result. And things like my trying to get into the Goenka 10-day is coming up in 2 weeks. So just want to acknowledge the practice being here, that how it exists for us.
We're really fortunate. Thanks, Ed. Don't forget to mute yourself, Had. Thanks. You know, Janine, I just had another realization of a sort. I was sitting here and the thought arose, you know, normally when I finish in the morning here, I get up and I go inside and I make some breakfast. And if Jennifer's still here, I get to say goodbye to her and feed the dogs. But I thought, you know, this morning, this is comfortable enough. I'm not in pain in that usual way. I might just sit here for a while. I don't have to be, my first meeting is with Gregory this morning at 11. And I thought I could just sit here. And then there was an association with that of a long time ago. It would be 35 years ago. More, actually, a little more. I was diagnosed with high blood pressure, which is epidemic in my family. It's okay. It's well controlled with medication, but it's been a struggle. And complicated story, but I got a hot tub. I put an in-ground hot tub at my home. And then I started spending long periods of time in the hot tub. I'd lie there with my head on the edge and watch as I never liked the jets much, but without the jets, that the in-breathing, the body would rise, and on the out-breathing, it would fall. It follows a little behind it. Out-breath happens, and the body falls. And then in. And I spent hundreds, thousands maybe, of hours in that tub meditating. And I abandoned all attempts to be concentrated, I think, in retrospect, that I practiced relaxing and being. And that was transformative. Because my personality was convinced that the only way to achieve anything was to strive, to hold tight and to have a goal and work toward the goal. So our personal neurotic structure always, we always, of course, bring that which we think we are into practice. However we're neurotic, we practice in that same way. And some people need to push themselves, and at certain times we all do, and having a teacher to help at those points is helpful. But most people that I've met all try too hard. That over-trying is the problem. Over-trying is the imbalance. And so learning how to rest into practice is really important. How to accept what is and to not try to change it. At the same time, and it is paradoxical because there needs to be some effort to restrain and to stay focused, to develop some concentration. But it's, how do I do it? Do I do it like this? Funny language. I shall bring the mind back and abide here in the breath, or I'm going to control my. I'm going to get this. I'm going to try hard, and there's kind of tensing in the jaw and the arms and somewhere in between those is a balance, which is the course correction. All right, mind wandering. Thank you very much. Back to the breath. But all the harshness goes out of it, and it becomes an intention more than a tension. Having a hot tub is quite a privilege. Having a bathtub is quite a privilege. Having running hot water, worthy of gratefulness. It's pretty interesting, the stuff we take for granted. Both of my parents lived through toilets moving indoors. They both in their childhood lived in without houses. It's nice having a toilet indoors. Privileged.
Hello everyone, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Birch.
Hello. You go by Birch?
Yeah, I use my last name. I just want to say thank you to this Sangha and your leadership teachings, Robert. I'm on Salt Spring Island, just off the coast of Vancouver.
I know where it is. Nice place.
It's a beautiful place. I was inspired just I've been meaning to spoken and just acknowledge the depth of this Sangha and the container that's being held here and how grateful I am for that. But also I was moved to say that we have an outdoor bathroom, we have an outdoor toilet, and it's so refreshing. There's such a joy. And we do have an indoor one now too, but there's something, I just think of the pendulum swing at times. And
Yeah.
I also wanted to say thank you for today, for the first time in seeing the discrete breath, connected to all the breaths, of course, but there was a moment there, unsettling and inspiring moment of imagining or sensing that each breath has its own discrete lifetime, which was an odd sensation to think of it as a life. I mean, it's coming and going. Did something in the chitta somehow, just shook things a little loose for a moment there. Anyway, I just did want to say hello. Thank you. I appreciate everybody, the quality of everybody's presence, and to be included and feel welcomed into the Sanghas. Portland's I've got so many dear hearts. Portland's another magical space. So we think of the portal between Salt Spring and Portland being open, and looking forward to the day to sit with some of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Birch.
Hi, everybody. It's Kat.
Hello, Kat.
I just wanted to say hi and that I'm grateful. I'm grateful for a group I can cry in front of. A very hard time. And I feel very alone. Which I think in NBC is not a feeling, but it's how I feel.
Be sure, please don't offend us with using the wrong words. Oh. You're really hurting, aren't you, Kat?
And I'm just glad to be here. And yeah, I just didn't want to not be grateful for coming here and having people I know and love every day. It's a real gift. Thank you.
Hi, it's Francine. I'm not
Hello,
sure how,
Francine.
I'm not sure how Zoom arranges these postage stamp pictures, but again and again and again, pretty much all the time, my picture ends up with Robert on my left and Tim on my right, and I just feel like I'm constantly being held by you two fine gentlemen. I just do. Is that a Zoom thing or a karmic? But I'm just full of love for the whole Sangha. But it's really a treat to be between you two fine gents. Thank you both. Thank you all.
I just had a funny association with that. I've been I'm not transposing. What's the word? Converting the family videos of my children from VHS to I've been digitizing them, and so some of the images are coming on. I've done about 10 or 12 hours so far. It's quite remarkable. But one of the games we used to play was with the two adults and the child in the middle, and we'd go 1, 2, walking 1, 2, 3, whoopee, and the child would swing back and forth, and I just thought we could do that with you. And once again, all right, Francine, are you ready? 1, 2, 3, whoopee! Oh dear, the associations of the mind are bizarre, aren't they? I had a poem I wanted to share. For you, Kat. Look, it's Mary Oliver. Look, the trees are turning their own bodies into pillars of light. They're giving off the rich fragrance of cinnamon and fulfillment. The long tapers of cattails are bursting and floating away over the blue shoulders of the ponds. And every pond, no matter what its name is nameless now. Every year, everything I have ever learned in my lifetime leads back to this: the fires and the black river of loss, whose other side is salvation, whose meaning none of us will ever know. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things. To love what is mortal. To hold it against your bones, knowing that your own life depends upon it. And when the time comes to let it go, to let it go. To live in this world, we must be able to do three things. To really love what is mortal. To dare to love, I would say. To hold it against your bones, knowing that your own life depends upon it. And then, when the time comes to let it go, to let it go. Sabbe sankhara anicca, said the Buddha. All conditioned phenomena are impermanent. It's a big word, all conditioned phenomena. But what about this? Couldn't this be permanent? Sabbe sankhara anicca. So we have a choice, sort of, to harden our hearts and not love what is mortal, not take the chance, or we then take the chance and then we grow.
Good morning, Sangha, Sky,
Hello, Sky.
Joe. We were just saying, I haven't seen Kat in a while. And she came on. And Kat, it is a tough world. I remind myself of Buddha saying this is a world of suffering. I have also been doing an 8-week Ram Dass course, and we have a Sangha meeting once a week and do the picture postcard connections. And for some of those people, it's the first time they've sat in Sangha, and they're so surprised by how much they get out of being connected. And I realize, and I was actually talking to Rameshwar Das about this, that this little piece of technology here and these meetings and connections are showing us that there is no time and space. We may not be together physically, but we are together, and we reach out and connect with each other in a way that's been quite remarkable and special. So I also want to say love to the Sangha. I'm grateful for all of you who sit here with me. And to not underestimate how beautiful this is and special. And also how universal, because it happens with people all over. So, blessings, everyone. So good to see you all.
Thank you, Sky. How's the weather at the coast this morning?
It's Kat again. Thank you, Sky. I want to share a little more, and my kids are shouting the numbers out in their school, which is my partner who brought me into the Sangha, and I have decided to shift our relationship to a friendship, which is like very, very painful and definitely what is absolutely right for both of us. And this group has taught me how to grieve, how to sit with what is happening, how this moment is like this, how to get a text on a morning that you have a presentation the day after you get broken up with from a nanny and say, I have food poisoning, and say, okay. And now this moment is like this. And that's not, and I think when I first heard that coming in, I thought that was like, cool, don't feel the feelings. It's just be in acceptance. And now I'm in complete acceptance that I am so fucking sad. And I'm not heartbroken. I don't like that term. My heart is very bruised. My heart is way too strong to be broken, but I feel bruised, and there is sadness, and there is also huge love. Like, there is so much love for you. There's so much love for my kids. There's so much love for you too. Little, put on a shirt. There is just a huge amount of love and in every way, and I'm just very grateful.
Thanks, Kat. Well, friends, 8:25. Anybody else sitting with something you'd like to share? Elizabeth, are you still somewhere exotic?
Hi. If work is exotic, then maybe.
Oh, are you at work? Oh, I see.
I wish. I'm in my car.
I see.
Thanks for noticing. I guess maybe I have something to share, which is oftentimes I'm doing two things at once while in the Sangha, and I think that that's been really skillful for me. And oddly, just rolling with it, which I kind of heard, the expansiveness of what is, like, this is what is. And so being in two places at once is strange, but I'm really, really benefiting from it.
Thank you. Well, shall we go out on a song? Actually, let's go out on Yashakur this morning. Oh, are there kids? Do you have kids coming, Kat? No? Okay. Nah, let's do Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Why not? May all beings receive all blessings, including us. You ready? Unmute if you wish. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a fine day, dear friends.
Thank you, Kat.
Bye, everyone.
Oops. Goodbye, friends on Facebook and YouTube. Sorry about the gap in the sound. I did figure it out ultimately. New